Hey, I'm Paul Conchatre, Birdtail Waterfowl. I just want to give you guys a bit of a walkthrough, so when you do come, you know exactly what you're going to see. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing here. Just we'll walk through every building and this is what you got. All right, so this is, we call it the food house. So we get food service coming into the lodge about every 4 days. So a lot of our food storage is here. We do some smoking, some barbecuing, and then Mike is so good, our chef, on walleye, so we deep fry walleye, and that's kind of one of our meals. So this is the food house. Okay, so this is my favorite building. We call it the change house, but basically it's a giant mud room that dries your clothes and keeps all the mud contained, because if we didn't have it, all the camouflage and boots and stuff like that would be in the cabins and everybody'd be living in dust and mud and feathers and whatnot. So that's basically where everything goes, is in here. So there will be 3 trucks and trailers wrapped around the change house. So basically, to go to the hunt or come home, it's just into the change house, put your gear on, and then in the trucks. And then when you come home, is take off your gear, put it in the change house, and then go freshen up in the cabin. So come on, I'll give you a little look-see on what the change house looks like. It's pretty cool. In this room, got a ton of heat to dry off the clothes in case, you know, like I said, everything gets wet on the hunt. Boots are wet. So we keep it like around 95 when you got a bunch of fans and whatever, air in and out to get rid of the moisture. But it actually will dry your stuff in like 3 to 4 hours kind of thing. So it's good for that. You got a little bit of a dryer here. If it doesn't, which really that happens. And then we got an ice maker as well. So this is the change house. It's a great building because it actually it contains all the mud and blood and feathers and whatnot, ready for the next hunt and good for your cabin. Okay, so this is the dog run. We keep our dogs in here, but if you want to keep yours in there, that's no problem at all. But yeah, it's got little flip doors and little cupboards and whatnot. And anyways, that's the dog run. So you got a pretty good view of the cabins here. We have 6 cabins. I find that they sleep 4, but they fit 2 really well. I'll walk you through one in a little bit. But basically what we have is we have 5 acres and it's all fenced off because we have a lot of bears and whatnot in the area. But so the fence helps, but it also helps let your dog air out kind of thing midday. So we have a big giant fire pit there. So sometimes we light her up and last light kind of thing when you come home and have a little bit of fire and a couple cocktails. Okay, so this is our skeet range. Do we shoot skeet very often? Not really. It's we actually more use it for practicing shots that the guides were seeing that you're missing. So say if you're missing a crossing shot, we'll go sit on like the 4th station or something like that and just practice that over and over until you get it. We usually do that around midday, after lunch before the evening hunt. But we got high house, low house over here, and we've got 400 capacity clayers in each with a wireless remote. So you can literally just stand there, hit the high house, shoot it, low house, shoot it. So it is pretty fun. You really don't need us to stand there and do it. You can do it on your own. So, but that's a skeet range. Actually it's just a great tool. It's really what it is. Okay, so this is the barn. It's probably like a 1940s. It's actually in great shape because we got some tin on the roof. But come on in, I'll show you what we got in here. A lot of it is just our equipment and whatnot. It's a big part of our flow and functioning. All our spinners charge there. We have whatever tool room kind of thing. This back room, I won't bring in there, it's kind of ugly, but that's our bird room. And basically what we do is when we bring our birds back to here, put them in a little ranger, and then we lay them out on these racks to cool them, and then we bring them into town to get processed. But yeah, so also here, these are super cool. These are the decoys that we use for diver hunting late October. So they're absolutely stunning. They're handmade by a fellow named Joe Brewer. So it's a cork body, balsam head, and a walnut keel. And these things, they punch through waves like nothing else. They got the weight that a plastic decoy doesn't. And that's why these things are so effective. So when we go diver hunting, that's what we use. And yeah, they're awesome. Actually, I'll show you one more thing. So our diver hunts, we actually use these motors. They're a PPF motor, and then we use them on 4 River. They're like a layout boat, but amazing combo. So each guest gets their own kind of boat motor, and then we just go into some crazy backcountry and smash divers. It's a lot of fun. I got a few sheds. Okay, so these are our cabins. To me, I think a big part of the reason why we have individual cabins is to basically, you got some privacy. They're like your own place kind of thing. So when you come home from the hunt, you got your own spot. If you want to take a nap midday, you're not up because of other people are up. So you can kind of run your own schedule. And when we kind of designed the property here, this was a #1 feature for me, is just be able to have your own spot. So I'll show you what they look like. I think they're super cool. This is what the inside of the cabins look like. They all are identical, but it's fully insulated building, cedar interior, and then actually I'll show you these. So these are shells. So it's actually, they're milled like hydro poles, but every time I travel, I'm always living out of my bag anyway. So basically put your bag, do your thing there. And then over here, actually, these are gun racks, and I never kind of got into it, but basically what you got to do is you store your guns in here, and then you got to store your ammo in the change house. And it's because we're licensed by the Canadian government to be able to sell ammunition. So we have to keep them separate. So guns in here, ammo in the change house. So that's what that's about. So every hunt, you're bringing your gun back and forth. Bunk beds, I find these cabins fit 2 people really comfortably. You can do 3, but somebody's up top. You got your USB plugins for cell or CPAP or whatever. And then in here, this is the bathroom. So it's a pretty big shower, toilet, 40-gallon hot water tanks. So there's lots of hot water for those cold hunts coming home. Little bar fridge back here. But yeah, so you have your own bathroom. And to me, I don't know, like I said before, it's like, it's nice to have your own place to come back to, like after the hunt, and just run your own schedule. And if you want to have a couple cocktails at the end of the day, it's free to. Okay, so we'll just go around into the back here. So we got a lot of trailers, and it's, some people laugh like an OCD thing, but maybe it is, but I'm okay with it. But each trailer has a purpose. Biggest thing for me when I was guiding was not juggling your equipment every day, in and out, in and out. For us, what we kind of chose to do was have a specific trailer for every specific hunt. So I'll just kind of quickly walk you through them. So this one, we got, it's actually a spare trailer in case, you know, we blow an axle or something like that. This one's got ATVs in it. And then actually these 3 are 3 main working trailers. So we run Dave Smith decoys, SX Snows, and then Dakota full body mallard. So these are our main working trailers. And then this guy, he's full of SX Snows. So we'll hunt mallards a lot of times over this spread, or we'll chase snows. That's our garbage trailer. So we try to keep everything contained so you don't have skunks and raccoons and that running around. And then, yeah, so then over here, there's more trailers. So the one on the left there, it's actually a luggage trailer. So if we change over and it's like a monsoon rain or snow or something like that, we don't want to put all your gear in the back of the trucks and you get to the airport and it's gross. So we'll tow that trailer into Winnipeg or wherever we need to take you. And the 2 smaller ones, that's full of cranes and blinds, stuff like that. So those are the trailers we're taking for cranes. And then the next one has all those 4 river layout boats for our diver hunts. So that's what we take diver hunting. But this building is the guide house. Super important building because the guides are in there. When I was guiding and whatnot, yeah, woof woof. Good accommodations, good spirits and all whatnot. It's a long season. You know, we work super hard, 7 days a week, no breaks. Hey, Bo. So this is where the guides stay. Okay, so this is the guide house. Super important building. Obviously, this is where the guides live. We want them comfortable and to be effective on every hunt. And to me, a lot of it is obviously happening here. So when the fellas come back from scouting, they basically debrief amongst everyone. So all the intel from what they picked up gets shared. They use, you know, like a piece of software and they're sharing spots and stuff like that. And really the way we work here is we're kind of rooting for everyone, not rooting for just one party. So everybody's kind of sharing the spots, and if they're watching a field build, then they kind of share it. The morning guys look at it, the evening guys look at it, and then maybe the morning guys hit it. So that's kind of, I think, is a big part of the reason why we do so well. And then this, to me, this is actually super cool. So this is a hunt report. So when they come back from every hunt, they actually give all the information on what happened on that hunt. So wind direction, location, what they shot, who was with them, and then whose land they were hunting. So I got an Excel spreadsheet that I put all that into, and then I'm actually able to watch how it all goes through, you know, our whole season. And then I plot it on a map, and I'm able to see, okay, so this is where the migration comes through when you have, you know, these crops here, and there is a pattern to it. And I've been doing it for almost 24 years. So it is neat, and there is a big pattern to it, and majority of it is just, it's timing, not necessarily crop. Birds are, I think it's more water bodies they're following down highways and stuff like that. But that hunt report book is kind of, it's the Bible to what we do. But anyways, this is the guide house. This is where they hang out, and yeah, it's a good one. It's a really important one. Okay, so let's check out the next building. It's kind of like an office, garage, gun room. Okay, obviously fuel tanks, but I kind of want to explain how we do it. So we work a giant area intentionally. I think it almost adds up to like 1.3 million acres is what we look at. We try not to pound out areas is really what it is, and that's why we work wide. But so every hunt gets scouted. You scout it that morning, you're gonna hunt it at night. If you find it that night, you're gonna hunt it the next morning. So they're all fresh fields. But fuel, we burn a ton of it because we put thousands and thousands of miles scouting. And to me, that's kind of one of the biggest reasons why we do so well, is that there's no limit on the fuel, no limit on the miles. The fellas just, they do what they gotta do to get those blockbuster hunts. And that really, it really all kind of comes down to gas, how much gas you burn. We burn a ton and work a huge area. So scouting is a big part, that's for sure. Got a little container here. This is our ammo shed because we are licensed. This is actually a perfect building for ammo. So we store all our ammo, so if you don't want to bring up ammunition on the planes or whatever, we can provide. So this is where we store it, locked and dry, it's perfect. And then in here is a pretty kick-ass Samurai. And then obviously all our waters, we have waders that we loan out. We have breathable waders, and then the wader boots and whatnot. They're almost like a fly fishing wader style, but it actually works super good for waterfowl, just because you're not sweating to death and you're working a fair amount. So to have that breathability in them, it's fantastic. And then you don't have to fly with them and burn up all your weight when you're traveling, right? So we got waders, don't bring them. So that's kind of a big one. That little Samurai we'll use to kind of scout out some gnarly places. Don't necessarily use it for hunts, but it's more trying to get into spots. Okay, so let me show you the gun room. So what it is it's basically we store all our rental guns in here, and then it's for cleaning as well. So if you need to clean your gun, we can do it, you can do it. If you're having issues, we can try to work on it. We're not gunsmiths, but we're pretty good. So we run Beretta. We find Beretta is probably the best one for our environment. They're almost like half inertia to half gas, so they cycle really well. We have really fine powdery dust here, and that's what usually bogs down other guns. So we've had great success with these guys. But we have obviously a ton of right hands, we got left hands, and then we got a few 20s here, so really nice gun. So if you don't want to bring your gun, we definitely got some guns. And if you do want to bring your gun, it costs you 25 bucks. You fill out a form, and then you present it at the border, and then you're good to go. But we're finding a lot of people do like renting our guns. They're affordable, and then you don't have the issues at the border or whatever, and you're not paying for one more bag. This is my office kind of / store. I wish I didn't spend so much time in it, but it's what happens, what it is. Okay, so this is where I obviously spend a ton of time doing licenses and whatever, ordering stuff and running the business. But it's a great office. I just wish I was in the field, but not it. So we have some merch, so hats and hoodies and t-shirts and whatnot. And if you forget, say your headlamp, we got that, toothbrushes and all the kind of stuff that usually gets forgotten. We got here, but it's not super elaborate, but it's a little something. But yeah, so this is my office. Okay, let's go to the lodge. So the lodge, okay, so basically we're eating in there, but a lot of the time we're spending in there is actually we're talking about the next hunt, the next morning or whatever. But we're all extremely passionate about what we do. Some call it intense. So basically your guide is going to let you know what you're doing the next, that afternoon or for the next morning. So he's going to give you a wheels up time. And that is when you're outside the change house, your blind bag on, camo, gun, shells, license, everything all together, and you're ready to go. So for us, a huge one is do not be late. Because the guides have calculated their drive time, their setup time, they've watched the birds when they're coming to the field. And we just don't want to be late, because a lot of times if you're late, you might blow 20–30% of the hunt. So please be organized and be on time. There's going to be a whiteboard inside the sunroom there, and it'll have the wheels up time. So it'll have your guide's name. It could say 5 o'clock or whatever. So 5 o'clock means you've had breakfast, you've had your coffee and whatnot, you're geared up, ready to go, because he's in the truck and he's 5 o'clock, we're rolling. So really big part of it. But the lodge is kind of like, like coach and team kind of thing. We're debriefing what we found and how we think the hunt's going to go. So we're not gonna whatever, blow smoke up your skirt kind of thing. We're going to be dead to right honest with you. So if there is no wind, we're going to tell you there's no wind. The birds are going to be scattered. It's going to be tough. Or if we're going to a blockbuster, we're usually pretty tight-lipped because we're nervous. But yeah, so that's really how that building functions. It's a good experience. It's fun because we're all kind of in it together, and we all want a lot of success. So come on in. So it's kind of a sunroom, kind of chill out here at the end of the day a little bit, guides and guests. And then everybody's just having lunch right now. So a little spread, and then that's where we eat. Let's come see the kitchen. Hey Linda, say hi.
Hi.